yesterday will always remain the same. But I'm here to announce a new beginning for what we are, an asset to our community, Southwest Center Mall. So, first of all, I want to give kudos to or thank my colleagues for coming out. I have my wingman, we call each other wingman on the council because we abut a lot of areas. Mr. Casey Thomas. All right. And our other wingman in flight today, Mr. Adam Magoo. And I do see some city staff. Also, I want to give tribute to former Councilman Tanell Atkins. And city staff, if you would just acknowledge yourself and what department you're with.
Kevin Acosta with City of Dallas Planning and Neighborhood Vitality.
Renee Hammond, Chief of Community Relations in Grove South Mayor's Office.
Jeff Chestnut, South Central Community Prosecutor.
Donna Chilton, Southwest Code Manager.
Terrence Bass, Southwest Code Supervisor.
Open White, Code Inspector in the Southwest Community Prosecution Office.
Good evening, everyone. Jason Mathis, also a community prosecutor for Southwest District 12.
Thank you all for coming. First of all, these are the individuals that make us look good, so we'll try not to disappoint you. All right, I'll be brief. I have another event to go to tonight, but I just want to say a few short words about why we're here. I've had a chance to sit down and talk with the new owner for the mall, Mr. Brodsky, and talk to him about his vision. If you remember, while I was running, there's a lot of things I talked about in terms of for District 8. And the biggest thing I talked about was opportunity. Opportunity. And I believe that having discussed with Mr. Brodsky what he would like to see for this area and what he would like for that input to be from the community is a lot of opportunity. A lot of opportunity. If you think back about the history of this mall, this used to be, and well, it's becoming, again, a beacon in the community, a regional mall. I remember back in the day when I used to come here, back when Oak Tree was in style and getting those Oak Tree suits and catching a bus and all that. This was the mecca for our area. We have the opportunity for that to once again rise again. So I look forward to the opportunity of working not only with Mr. Brodsky but the community and making sure that this becomes a beacon, a opportunity for us to no longer to have to travel to Cedar Hill, an opportunity for us to no longer have to travel to Town East, North Park, or anywhere else but here. So this is our opportunity to take advantage of. And I look forward to working with you, the community, and the new owner, new management, and how we're going to move that forward. So without further ado, I think, am I supposed to introduce you? Okay, all right. Without further ado, hey, you got to follow Miss PQ, so don't want to go wrong. I may be a District 8 City Councilman, but she is the Mayor of Oak Cliff. So, without further ado, our new owner, Mr. Peter Brodsky.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I also want to echo my thanks to all the elected and unelected city officials who are here. I appreciate the support. So, there's really only one agenda in my mind for this meeting, and that is I want to have the opportunity to introduce myself to you, and then I want to begin a dialogue with the community about what your vision for the future of this mall is and what your desires are as community members for this mall to become. I want to just take a couple of minutes and give you a little bit of my background and explain to you why I wanted to buy this mall and what I hope we together can do. I'm from New York originally, but I've lived in Dallas for 20 years. I moved down here in 1995 for a job, met a girl, and here I am. There was no chance she was leaving Dallas and no chance I was leaving her, so here we are. We've been married for 18 years. We've got 3 kids. And while Dallas was not the place that I thought I would live in growing up in New York City, I really love this city, and I really care about it. I spent the first probably 10 or 12 years really just focused on career, starting a family, things like that. And about 5 or 8 years ago, I began to look around and say, okay, I'm going to live here. This is my home. I want to get involved in the community. And I started to look around for places where I thought I might be able to be of service and add value. And I focused very quickly on education. I'd been very fortunate in my career, had some flexibility with time, and I began to focus, almost full time on trying to help bring better educational opportunities to people in Dallas. I became part of an organization called KIPP Dallas Fort Worth. You may know of it. There's 2 schools across the street, and became very passionate about that school system and offering high quality educational choices to families in Southern Dallas. We focused as a strategy on KIPP on growing in Southern Dallas because we felt that was the place where there was the highest need for more and better educational choices, and we felt it was an underserved community. And in the process of spending all that time in Southern Dallas, my passion grew from just education to really the Southern Dallas community. And I spent a lot of time. We have 1 school in the Lancaster Key Shopping Center. We have 2 schools across the street, and I spent a lot of time driving in those neighborhoods, meeting parents, meeting officials, and I just kept thinking, boy, there's got to be more that this community deserves and can support than check cashing and payday lending and other retail choices that I don't really agree with. About a year and a half ago, I began to think about ways that I might be involved further in the Southern Dallas community, and I decided that one way might be to acquire some kind of commercial real estate and prove people wrong, and prove to the North Dallas real estate community that owns a lot of the properties down here that people here both deserve and desire quality options. Just like they want quality real estate or quality education options, people want quality retail and entertainment options. And it doesn't just have to be sort of the same thing that's in all these other strip centers. I looked at a few of them. I was unsuccessful in acquiring them for one reason or another. And then the Southwest Center Mall became available. I was aware of it because of its proximity to KIPP, so I'd seen it. And a friend of mine, who's sitting over there, called me up and told me that it was available, and I started to take a look at it. And here's what I saw. I saw a mall that used to be, and in some ways still is, a real point of pride for this community. I don't know how many people have said to me, back in the day, you should have seen this place. A real point of pride. I saw a mall that had sunk, pretty low down, and thanks to the efforts of people like Ms. Pemberton and her team, the mall management team, have really brought it back to a profitable and pleasant environment, but still one that doesn't have all of the quality options that people want. I also saw a lot of land at a very critical infrastructure in Dallas, and I thought this is an opportunity to really sort of dive in head first and try to have an impact on this community and really prove the possible. Really prove that if you create an environment that is based on quality, people will flock to it and it will thrive. And like one of the earlier speakers said, people have money and they want to spend their money, but they want to spend it in a quality environment. And so it was a long process of trying to acquire it. It was a very weird process. It was done in an online auction, which I had never experienced before. But in the end, I was able to prevail, which I was very excited about. In looking at it, a lot of people advised me not to do this. And one of the main reasons that they advised me not to do it was that there are 6 different owners of the mall property, 5 anchors and the mall. But because the JCPenney and the Dillards were both closed, those lands were available as well. And so I've also been able to get under contract or under option the JCPenney and the Dillard site. And I think that's really critical because it allows a wholesale redevelopment of the property. If all you're going to do is the mall and the rest of the property, that JCPenney is still sitting there empty, and the parking lot still doesn't look great, it's not going to be enough to really turn it around. So I'm very excited, and that's very much in the plans to do a whole-scale redevelopment of the property. Now, the other thing that I know very well, hello, how are you? Thank you for being here, is that there is a long history of, how can I put this? There's a long history of people from North Dallas coming into Southern Dallas, buying property, putting something there, and saying, this is what you need. And I want to be very clear that that is not the approach here at all. I understand very well that this mall is here to serve this community and needs to be done in a way that works for this community. And so I'm not here to tell you what the mall is going to be. I'm here to introduce myself and hopefully start a dialogue with you about what you think the mall should be. Now, will everyone agree on what the mall should be? No. I can absolutely guarantee that. But I want to make sure that we are filling a need for this community. And so the process that we're going to go through is going to involve experts, it's going to involve architects, it's going to involve site planners, it's going to involve all the professionals that you would expect, but it also has to involve a voice from the community. Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Wilson has already proven himself to be a terrific partner, and I intend to, I told him we're going to become best friends. I intend to be consulting with him and other council members, other elected officials, other leaders, but I also want to make sure that at a grassroots level there's an ability to communicate, to hear what people think. So the one thing that I feel strongly about is the word I've said a bunch of times here tonight, quality. I'm not looking to do something that's sort of slap a coat of paint on it and keep milking it for cash flow. I have a long-term perspective on this. I realize it's not going to turn around in a day. I realize that a real redevelopment takes months and months of planning and years of execution. This is not something that I'm planning on flipping, selling out quickly. And so I'm in it for the long term, and I want to end up at the end of the road with something that everyone in this community, including myself, is very proud of. So that's me, that's what I'm doing here, and I open it up for any questions anyone may have. Okay, thank you very much. Someone's got to have a question. Yes, ma'am.
I didn't hear everything, but just the portions that I did hear, you mentioned quality. So that means that you're going to bring stores here that we as real adults like to dress really nice and classy. You're going to bring those type of stores back?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Yeah, the one thing I can't do is force retailers to come here. I can't force restaurants to come here. But there are models around the country, and myself and our team are studying what other malls that have sort of fallen into, sort of not been cared for a while, and have gotten to where this mall is, where it's come back miles from where it was, but it doesn't have the retail options that folks want. What have they done to make it attractive to those retailers that people want to shop at, and as well as the entertainment options. And we're still figuring it out. I've been saying to some people, there's a bit of a chicken and egg problem, right? You don't want to, sink millions of dollars into a renovation and then find out that no one wants to come, but you also can't get anyone to come unless you improve the physical plant. And so that's a process that we're going to go through in the planning. But yes, the goal is to upgrade the physical plant to really a Class A facility, and then begin to attract more of the name brand retailers that people go to North Park and Cedar Hill and all the other places to shop in. How that happens, I'm not sure yet. It could be that we do the renovation, we stick with the existing tenants, and as their sales improve, more people are attracted and we fill the mall back up. It could be that if we make commitments on what the mall is going to look like, that's enough to attract retailers. But yes, the goal is to have a wider breadth. And by the way, I mean no disrespect to the retailers that are here.
Right.
They do a terrific job. They've kept the mall vibrant. It's a lot of small businesses that do a terrific job. But the mall's only 60% open. There's an entire wing over there that's closed, so there's plenty of room for everyone. So yeah, that's the goal. Does that answer your question? Yes, sir.
I see the notation, the footnote says it's not a deep dive development, but when would you come back to the community and talk about development?
Well, I just closed on Friday, so
Right.
I haven't set out the schedule yet.
Right.
But what I want to do is I want to gather up the team of people that needs to hear what the community says, because I'm not an architect. If I go meet with the community, that's great, and I'm going to be doing that. But I also want the architecture team to hear from the community and the site planning team to hear from the community, so that those thoughts can be directly reflected. So first I have to get the team together, but I would say that it's going to be a several month-long planning process, and several times during that process there's going to be formal conversations, and all throughout the process I would hope that there will be informal conversations. Everyone knows how to get in touch with Ms. B. Ms. B and I talk, we email on a daily basis and meet a couple times a week. So there should be lots of informal lines of communication. The other thing that I need to figure out, and I'd happy to take suggestions, is are there formal structures that we should put in place, some kind of community representation board, or should it be less formal? We can figure that out over time, but it's got to be part of the formal process. Yes, sir.
Let me just say this, if you don't mind. First, I want to personally thank you.
Thank you.
But then I want to personally thank Ms. P. And I want to personally tell her, we really give it a tip. And I want to personally thank Taneo for your vision and your support. These are things I'm aware of. But I want to thank the council, the new council that's here, Ruth, and all of the folks connected with this project. Now, moving forward, we've heard a lot of things, and we've had a lot of dreams, and Ms. P had to kind of swim through a lot of this stuff. That's why we owe her the honor. What I would like to do, you're putting up your money, and I want to say to us as a community, he's putting up his money in our community. So it's upon us. It's upon us to take advantage of this opportunity, for us to be supportive, for us to make sure that what is here, that we protect it and we support it. All the little hip hop stuff right now, I don't really get into myself. But there are some things that I can do, and there are some things in here that we can buy. The most important thing that we have to do to help you is we have to positively get behind them, as the folks get behind the Galleria, the community, the North Park Mall, the community, the Cedar Hill, and then we have to say to these retailers what it is that we want them to do and where we would like to get it done. If we collectively do that, we will be that force behind you. That's the greatest thing we can do. I'm gonna stop, but the organizational structure that you're talking about, then Ruth and all of us in here, and every one of us, Bobby, we have to get behind the organizational structure that is set, and then we have to perform, and we have to make our community what it is that we have the opportunity to do. Thank you, Pete.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
I kind of heard when you were describing your vision, it sounds as if you've ruled out new construction, and because this is a pretty valuable piece of dirt here where it's located. And if you haven't ruled out new construction, then I would offer a vision that is a mixed-use project where we got some housing and we got some retail and maybe some light manufacturing or whatever, but a really nice sized and comparable mixed-use project that would have a fair chance for attracting some of those retailers that we've been unable to get back here. But and this is to say nothing about the existing structures here, but if we really are going to try to get those retailers to come back here, I think you've got to offer them a pretty strong vision of something that really looks to the future rather than perhaps renovating what's here.
There's no question about it. Thank you for that comment. I think it's a both and. So we absolutely have to renovate the mall, but that's not enough. The reason why the additional parcels of land that I talked about are so important is because that's where the mixed use comes in. So whether it's residential or office or medical or entertainment or any other thing, I'm not sure yet, but we have to increase the number of reasons why people come to this site in order to attract the type of traffic that we need in order for the mall to be viable. So I would...
We have some committees, and so we have been addressing that particular issue. So that is critical because, as everybody's stating, if the outside, we can do a lot here, but the exterior is also extremely important as well. So we've been really focusing in on that. So we're going to be partnering up and feeding back some more ideas on that. So we are addressing that.
Yes, I'll answer your question one second. Her hand's been up.
My concern, and no one has mentioned that, what about security? I think what has happened with this mall is the lack of security. Kids run around, they're not shopping, the parents drop them off, they're not shopping, they just be recognizing other shoppers. And just like the mall owner, I remember going there. You go there, you have to live with someone, if you just load them on for no reason, you have to leave.
Yeah.
You have to show a receipt that you have shopped. And I think that's been the biggest problem here, one of the biggest problems.
I agree that security has historically been a problem. I will say that based on the research I've done, that is more of a perception problem than a reality problem today. And that in fact, this mall has the lowest crime rate of any mall in the Metroplex. We spend a lot of money on security. Now, we can always do better. You can always do better, but we've come a long way.
But it's not in crime. I'm not talking about crime.
Okay.
You just heard of harassment, heard of teenagers walking behind 2 or 3 girls. Mm-hmm. And, that is not a crime, but it's annoying.
Yeah.
And,
I hear what you're saying.
And the filthy language that they would use, they go in the store, they harm. I mean, it's just an obsession.
I think it's a great point. I don't have a great answer.
But
I
just have security, that the way they wear their clothes, their pants hanging down. No one needs to see their underwear.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. On the other hand, it's a free country, so we have to find the balance. Your question about the name, the answer is that's something that I'm going to seek a lot of feedback from the community on. The way I see it is there's 3 options. You stick with Southwest Center Mall, really 4 options. You go back to Redbird Mall. You go back to, you come up with something completely new, or you go with something that involves the word Redbird, but indicates a new day. The shops at Redbird, Redbird Village, Redbird Town Center. I don't know what the right answer is. I just know I can't think of any other options other than that. I'd be very curious by a show of hands who thinks we should do what.
And additionally, I have a couple more questions. So you talked about you bought the mall, but there are 6 owners of the parcels. So what do you actually own?
So there are 6 parcels of this property. There is the mall and its associated parking, which is different parcels around the parking lot. Then there's Burlington owns their building and their parking lot. Macy's owns theirs. Sears owns theirs. Dillard's owns theirs, and JCPenney owns theirs. That's 6. 5 anchors plus the mall. Each had separate ownership, and there's an agreement in place that sets forth the rules by which all 6 have to play. What I have closed on and currently own is the mall, which is all this entire building other than the anchors and its associated parking. I have under contract the old Dillard's on the south side of the mall and its associated parking, and I have an option to purchase the JCPenney on the west side. So when all is said and done, what will be under my ownership is the mall, JCPenney, and Dillard's. Burlington, Sears, and Macy's continue to own their buildings and their parking.
And my last question, do you know, have they committed, or how long have those existing anchor of the stores committed to be here?
Nobody has given me a firm time frame on commitment, but my understanding, here's my understanding, is that they want to be here, but they also want to see improvements. So I think if we do nothing for the next 3 years, we're gonna lose at least one of those anchors. But if they see movement and they see the opportunity to improve their sales because of the rising tide of the mall being improved, I believe those anchors will stay.
And if I may address with Macy's, we do have a line of communication directly with Macy's, so we are able to deal with Macy's. I can't speak for Sears and for Burlington, but we are working closely with Macy's because that's one of their main concerns as well.
Because Macy's is close to moving out.
Well, we're working on that, trying to keep them here.
One thing I can absolutely confirm is that they are not on, Macy's just announced they were going to be closing 40 stores. This is not one of them.
Not one of them.
Yes, sir.
When you use the word upgrade and renovate, I'm sure you've answered my question, but as far as making the mall appealing, because right now there's really nothing appealing about the mall. It just doesn't, nothing just really jump out at you to make you want to shop. But another thing that really concerns me is the lighting situation. I mean, it's really terrible when you.
Are you talking about in the parking lot or inside the building?
Yeah, I mean, it's really terrible. That could very easily send a message to the community that, well, not you, I know you just closed, so not you, but the current owners, they're not interested in the customers when they're leaving at night, as well as the employees. So your renovation, I'm sure it will include, making them all appealing.
It needs to be a soup to nuts upgrade.
Exactly.
I'm talking about landscaping. I'm talking about lighting. I'm talking about parking. I'm talking about the food court. I'm talking about the floors. I'm talking about the interior lighting. I'm talking about the escalators. I'm talking about the overhang of the entrance. I'm talking about the whole shebang. It's gonna have to be, now, is that construction gonna start tomorrow? No. I need many months to figure out the right thing to do, because what I don't wanna do is sink a bunch of money into something, put a bunch of lights in, and then find out, well, we're actually not gonna have the parking lot there. We're gonna put structured parking there and a movie theater, and then it's been a waste of money. So we gotta wait till we have a plan. But absolutely, this thing needs to be totally updated. It hasn't been touched in decades. Yes, ma'am.
2 more questions.
I don't know I'm a compulsive shopper. I shop here every week. And what brings me to a place to shop is the sales. So I don't know what you all, most men are not shoppers.
Amen.
So you're not gonna just come out and just shop. But if a sale is there, we're gonna come out and shop. We're not looking at what the landscape is. We come to shop that building to get that sale.
However, but when you compare this mall with the mall that you mentioned tonight, I mean, it really looks.
I don't even see the look.
You're the ideal shopper then,
Yeah,
but
I shop.
it's a competitive world out there, and a lot of people, and people shop, sometimes people just shop for recreation and they want a more pleasant environment. I want to give them a more pleasant environment.
I mean, I shop here every week.
Well, I love you. I love you. Thank you.
That's my fragrance man back there.
All right, this lady right here, you had your hand up, and then this gentleman right here.
My name is BJ Anderson, and I have Blue Jays to go in the food court, and I just wanted to say something to the lady about the security. I think that the security here is great. Yes. 4 or 5 years ago, me and my son, we got jumped right in by the Foot Locker, and the security was horrible. But the security that y'all have in place now is great.
Thank you.
This gentleman right here.
I haven't been in this mall probably 4 or 5 years, longer than that. I wouldn't say funny though, because I had an incident with Jason Phoenix, when she's talking about the security. These boys, young men, were walking through the mall cursing, using the filthiest language, and the Dallas police officer off duty was right nearby and did nothing. So I didn't come back. But the critical piece here is going to be marketing. How you market the mall.
That's right.
I was surprised at how nice it looked inside. I didn't know about it. Nobody's telling me that the mall has improved. I'm going on old stuff.
The prior
marketing is going to be a critical piece.
You are absolutely on point. I couldn't agree with you more. And the prior ownership has not wanted to spend money on marketing. We will be spending money on marketing. But again, I want to wait until we know what we're marketing.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, I'll tell you, when I told some friends of mine that I was going to do this, they asked me if there were gangs running around the mall with guns. What are you talking about? But I mean, we have a major perception problem that needs to be addressed through marketing.
So we're going to close out with Councilman Thomas, Casey Thomas, so we can get out here at 6 o'clock, keep it to the hour as we had said we were going to do.
Can I ask one more question?
Actually, go ahead.
Yeah,
that's fine. We have about 4 minutes, so you will definitely be the last question.
Okay. I've been attending almost 4 years, and I just want to know, is there anything we can do as tenants to make it better, to make it easier? Anything we can do, input, get out, do something? Anything we can do as tenants? Because this is how I feed my family.
That's right.
Absolutely, and at the monthly tenants meeting next week, we're going to have a chance to all sit down together. But absolutely, you all know the mall better than anyone because you're here every day. And so, yeah, I'd love to get as much feedback from you as possible about things that would make your businesses better.
Okay.
That's what we want to do is make your businesses better. Not only because it's good for you, it's good for us. And when your businesses are better and your sales per square foot are better, guess what? More stores are going to want to come in to that empty hallway.
Okay. Good? Good. Thank you.
Right. Let's give Peter a hand for being. You know, it's not often you find someone who's willing to invest in your community and then wants your input. You know, as Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Wilson talked about, you know, we said ourselves wingman. He's making calls to retail every day, every other day. I'm making the same phone calls. We get the same answers. But in closing, what I want to share with you is the fact that this mall and the shopping center, and we know it as what Sack and Save used to be, both went to auction the same weekend. And so that mall also has a new owner. And I had a conversation with him, and that's in District 3. And for those of you who don't know, this is District 8, but across the street is District 3. So the question about across the street, we're in conversations about how we can work together. As a matter of fact, Peter didn't know this, but I talked with Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Wilson about this. We want to have a meeting with myself, Councilman Wilson, Peter, and Payman, who's the owner of the shopping center right up the street, and see how we can work together on these two. that has been very important to our community. So I talked with Ms. P a few minutes ago, and she wants to have the meeting, the community meet and greet with the new owner of the shopping center, what Sackett would say it was here as well. And so I have a conversation with him over the next couple of weeks, and I'll get with her and we'll set a date and we'll let you know when that meeting is. And so on behalf of Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Wilson, I want to thank you for coming out and for showing your interest. And what I encourage each of you to do, don't let this be your last day. One, of coming to the mall, but two, being involved with this process. Because if we don't support the mall, who is? So I encourage you to get with Ms. P and her team, Camp Wisdom Now, join that effort, support them and what they're doing. Are there any members of Camp Wisdom Now here? If you all stand so you can be acknowledged. They have been working diligently to help get us to where we are now. Now we see the cavalry is here. So we need the cavalry to jump on board and carry us to where we need to be. So thank you everybody for coming out and be safe.
Get some more water.